1994. The internet was a digital Wild West, and I was a 30-year-old vice president at a Wall Street firm. It was a good job, a stable life. But I saw something. I saw this number, 2,300%. That was the annual growth rate of the web. A number so staggering it kept me up at night. I knew I had to be a part of it. The idea of selling books online with a virtually unlimited inventory just clicked. My boss at the time, he tried to talk me out of it. He said it was a great idea for someone who didn't already have a good job. But the thought of looking back in my 80s and regretting not trying, that was a far greater risk than failing. So, my wife Mackenzie and I, we packed up our lives and drove west. I wrote the business plan in the passenger seat while she drove. We ended up in a garage in Bellevue, Washington. That garage, with its pot-bellied stove, became our headquarters. We built desks out of cheap doors from Home Depot, a symbol of frugality that became part of our company as DNA. In the beginning, it was just a few of us packing books on the garage floor. When we got an order, a bell would ring in the office, and everyone would gather around to see who knew the customer. It was intimate. It was exciting. It was terrifying. On July 16, 1995, Amazon.com went live. The growth was immediate and explosive. Within 2 months, we were shipping books to all 50 states and over 45 countries. We hadn't even set up a marketing department yet. It was pure word of mouth. I remember those early days, staying up until 3 in the morning with my first few employees, packing boxes ourselves. I drove the packages to the post office in my Chevy Blazer. We were growing so fast we couldn't keep up. The bell that rang for every order had to be turned off within weeks because it just never stopped. It was chaos, but it was the most beautiful chaos I'd ever seen. Then came the dot-com bust in the early 2000s. The bubble burst and Wall Street turned on us. Analysts were calling us Amazon bomb. They said our business model was flawed, that we were doomed to fail. Our stock price plummeted from over $100 a share to less than $6. It was a brutal, humbling time. Every day felt like a fight for survival. We were burning through cash, and the pressure was immense. Many of our peers, companies that had seemed invincible just months before, were disappearing overnight. It felt like the world was collapsing around us, but we didn't give up. We focused relentlessly on the customer. We lowered prices, improved selection, and invested in making the delivery experience faster and more reliable. This was when we introduced free Super Saver shipping, which was a huge gamble. And then came Prime in 2005. People thought we were crazy. Offering unlimited 2-day shipping for a flat annual fee, it seemed financially insane. But we weren't just selling shipping, we were creating loyalty. We were making our service so valuable that customers wouldn't even think of shopping anywhere else. This was the turning point. It wasn't about surviving the storm anymore. It was about building a fortress. From that fortress, we started to build new kingdoms. In 2006, we launched Amazon Web Services, or AWS. We took our internal expertise in running massive, scalable, and reliable data centers and turned it into a product. Again, people were skeptical. A bookseller selling cloud computing? It didn't make sense to them. But we saw the need. We had built this incredible infrastructure for ourselves, and we realized other companies, from tiny startups to huge enterprises, could benefit from it too. AWS started as a side bet, but it quietly grew into a juggernaut, eventually becoming the most profitable part of our entire company. Then came the Kindle in 2007. I've always loved books, the physical objects themselves, but I also believe that when you're engrossed in a story, the book itself should disappear. The goal of the Kindle was to get out of the way, to let the reader connect directly with the author's words. It took us years of development. We wanted the screen to look like real paper, to be readable in bright sunlight, and for the battery to last for weeks. When we finally launched it, it sold out in 5.5 hours. It proved that people were ready for a new way to read, and it solidified our position not just as a retailer, but as a technology and innovation company. The following years were a blur of invention. We acquired Zappos, launched our own film and TV studio, Amazon Studios, and introduced Alexa and the Echo speaker to the world. Each step was guided by our leadership principles: customer obsession, ownership, and a willingness to invent and simplify. We weren't afraid to make long-term bets, to plant seeds that might not sprout for 5, 7, or even 10 years. We expanded into groceries with Whole Foods and into logistics, building our own network of planes, trucks, and delivery vans to get packages to customers faster than ever before. We were always asking, what's next? What else can we invent for our customers? Of course, the journey wasn't without its challenges. With great scale comes great responsibility and even greater scrutiny. We've faced tough questions about our workplace conditions, our impact on small businesses, and our market power. These are complex issues, and we haven't always gotten it right. Listening to criticism, learning from our mistakes, and constantly striving to do better for our employees, our sellers, and our communities became just as important as inventing the next big thing. The story is far from over, and the challenges are real, but our mission remains the same: to be Earth's most customer-centric company. Looking back, from that garage to a global company, the one constant has been change. The one thing I've learned is that you have to be willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time. You have to be stubborn on vision but flexible on details. If you're not, you'll give up on experiments too soon. And if you're not experimenting, you're not inventing. It's always day one. That's the mindset that got us here. It's the belief that there's always something new to build, a new way to delight a customer, a new problem to solve. The journey is only 1% finished. Thank you so much for watching and taking this journey with me. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the companies and people who shape our world. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next video. See you next time.